Hey guys, it's Ken and Gina here from OK Portugal.
We've got action-packed video this week.
And a big thanks to REOLINK for sponsoring this week's episode. We're going to tell you a little bit more about that later, but for now, let's get into some farm life action. In this week's episode, our neighbour Joaquim turns the grass on our farm into summer food for his sheep. I film all the action as he uses his trusty Ford tractors, along with a bunch of interesting implements to sweep up and roll the grass into bales. I also get to grips with my new Weber kettle barbecue and learn how to roast an awesome Portuguese-style peri-peri chicken. And I share a very tasty recipe from my mom all the way back in South Africa. Boa tarde. Joaquim has arrived. Sweep the grass. Tudo bem? Joaquim's come with his sweeper. And those of you that have watched for a long time will know exactly how this thing works. As he goes forward, you can see how the little wheels turn and it sweeps it all up. Look at that. Right to the edge. It's pretty amazing. It's like a very old tool, but a very effective tool. And as you can see, it's quite a quick job doing this. He's absolutely flying over the ground at quite high speed, which is nice. It's one of the quicker things you do with the tractor. You can see how dry everything is. It's amazing what a difference like the whole week has made, where it's gone from being lush and green into completely dry straw and hay and stuff like that. So he sweeps everything up into these nice, neat rows that you see in the background here. And he's got them all nice and spaced out. And then when he comes with a hay baling machine, he just has to go along these lines, picks it all up and rolls it quite neatly. And you'll see that in a bit. And this front field over here where he's starting, this is actually our smallest field. So it's the one that's never really done that well since we moved in here. It was like the soil wasn't very good quality or anything like that. Stuff never really used to grow here very well. But this year I would say it's been the best year that we've ever seen here. So I'll be interested to know just how many bales we get off this. I love how effective some of these old tractor implements are, you know. It's just a really simple design. A couple of wheels spinning around, powered by the tractor as it moves along the ground, and does exactly what you need it to do. Well, he's made short work of this field. I think he's only got one more row to go, and then we move on up onto the next one and the next one. There's also on the very bottom, there's sort of half a really big field that hasn't actually been cut yet, that he's leaving to grow a little bit longer because it was still a little bit short down there. I'm not sure if you can see the difference in the hay in the rows, and obviously where it's been swept here. And you can see that we're entering that dry time of year. This section over here has already been tilled. This is kind of like what the driveway looks like at the moment, where this is sort of where I was mowing and stuff. You can see it's still kind of green. And obviously where the fields have been cut here, there's a little bit of greenery. But pretty soon, this is all just going to be very dry. And the only greenery that we're going to see are things like the pine trees, the zest over there, some of the trees that we have growing, and obviously things like the grapevines. But all of these fields here will just be dry. Geez, it's amazing how different everything looks already. A couple of weeks ago, all these fields were just completely green and full of beautiful wildflowers, chamomile, clovers, all sorts of different types of grains and wheats and things like that. Really nice and tall. And now, look at it. Jeez. This is very important though. If we had left all of those fields, imagine how dry they would have become. Imagine we could have had wildfires spreading through here. So yeah, it's all quite important, and it's good that it's happening. But yeah, it's a little bit of a shame to see it all disappear. Right, let's move my bag and my bike a little bit further along here, because he's going to come through in a sec. So Joaquim was just telling me that this is called either a rush picador or an empicadore. It has two different names. All right, he's going to chance it. Hopefully we don't get snagged on the fence here. I think he's trying not to hit this post, and he's also trying not to get snagged on the fence. That is a tight fit, look at that. Jeez. But as I told you in the other video, Joaquim's like a surgeon with this tractor. That is amazing. I mean, he was so close to hit this fence. I mean, driving a regular car, you know, a road car, and being precise is one thing, but driving this old tractor, I mean, this thing is not precise at all. You should feel the clutch on it and the brakes. It's quite a feat to drive it that carefully. So yeah, after all the grass gets collected, I've got to come through here with my strimmer and strim all of this. I've got to strim all of the rows around everything. I've got to strim all of these rows on the side here. I've basically got to get rid of all of that. I think I might keep a little bit on here just for insects and things, and I think I might keep a row just on the outside of our vineyard on this side. But things like this, like where the vines are growing, obviously this is starting to choke up the vines. So I need to come here and I need to get rid of all of this, cut it all back. And also if there is a fire, the last thing I want is it spreading through all of these sort of rows here and burning everything. And it's at this time of year where everything starts to get quite hot. So I think tomorrow is 28 degrees Celsius, and then after that it goes up to like 30, 32. And yeah, I mean, just look, blue skies. It's going to be hot every single day. Good thing I love the heat. So we have much of a muchness. He kind of likes to start on the outer edge, and then as he starts, watch how it drags it all in from the edge and drags it all into the center, into a row. Nice. Wow, he's so quick. He's already kind of finished this section. So I'm just going to move on to the next. This is probably going to be quite a challenging section to do this olive grove, because as you can see, it's got a whole bunch of trees in the way. So I think he's leaving this section for last. He's already actually done this whole section where you saw me now on the bike. He's done all that. I had to go inside quickly. I had a couple of phone calls to make. So we're done all the way down here. I think we've done a little bit in this bottom field section as well. I think even without that bottom field, I think what we've got here is going to break the records that we've ever had. But we'll see. It's quite a stark contrast, all of this dryness. And then we've got what resembles a nice green lawn. But as you can see, it's actually not that green anymore. It's all starting to kind of die. And in the summertime, I don't want to irrigate this. It's a huge area to irrigate, and it's just a waste of water. You know, every year this kind of dies back. Maybe at some point, if I get a really deep borehole and it's got tons of water, then I'll think of putting sprinklers down. But yeah, for now, it's time to say goodbye to my green lawn, because in a couple of weeks, it's going to be bone dry and no water. How's that for an iconic shot? The forest in the background, he's rocking on his blue Ford tractor. Love it. So it's been a couple of hours, and Joaquim's now on the last bit. All the other fields have been done and swept, and now it's just the olive grove. So as you can see, this is quite tricky because he's got to kind of maneuver between all of the trees. But for someone like Joaquim, this is easy peasy, man. This does not faze him in the slightest. He's been doing this ever since he was a little kid. But yeah, this is the first time that I've actually grown grass in the olive grove. I usually cut the grass around here, and I just thought, you know what, it's a waste of grass to cut it, and his sheep can eat it. And yeah, looks like we're going to get quite a few rows in here. Oh, I wonder how these little olives are coming along. This tree is absolutely packed full of olives. It's actually bizarre. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously these are the flowers. Not all of the flowers are going to turn into olives, but I mean, it looks very hopeful. And I mean, the whole tree is absolutely ram-packed full of them. Now I know in last week's video, Antonio was talking about how we've got a leap year, and in the leap year, the basket is always half full. It basically means that during a leap year, you don't really get a good harvest. But this is looking quite hopeful, really. This actually looks like it's going to be good. Hello, doggies. Have you come down to see what all the fuss is about? Hello. What's going on, Eddie? Eddie. Hello, Mimo. No, shush. Shush. Joaquim loves that mundo. Yeah, during it. Hey! Oh, I better get out the way. I'm about to get flattened. No, it wasn't me shouting, it was Joaquim sneezing. He had a proper sneezing fit. See, this is the thing that women don't realize, is that as men get older, when they sneeze, it becomes like an event. Like when I sneeze now, okay, it's an incredibly loud sound. It's like a very offensive...
Well, I was going to say it sounded like an old man sneezing. I thought that might be offensive. But then, do you know what I thought it was? You know, when you got bitten by the
by the centipede.
It always sounded like that. I was like, oh no, what's happened now?
No, I was filming the olives, and suddenly I heard the screaming as well, and I was like, oh geez, I wonder if Joaquim's okay.
Oh, but it's just a good old sneeze.
A good old sneeze.
A good old clear out.
Definitely.
Oh. He's a puppy dog.
Hello, softy face. So yeah, I think we're nearly there. Joaquim's kind of off in the distance over there. This all looks quite well swept up. Obviously it's not perfect. I'm not sure. On other years what he tends to do is he sweeps it up and then he comes the next day and he bales it. But before he bales it, he kind of gives it another sweep just to get it good. Joaquim, ciao. Ciao. Here we go. That's part of the grass harvest of 2024. I think it's going to be our best year ever. I know I've said that a lot. Tomorrow we're going to find out when we start picking up all of these hay bales. Sorry, when we start rolling them. Our farm dogs are on their night shift, keeping a watchful eye over the farm. But they're not the only ones watching, because thanks to REOLINK, we now have security cameras all over our farm that are not only capable of seeing during the day, but have amazing night vision as well. This particular camera is fully automatic and tracking objects that move around the farm, and here it's tracking Eddie, our Serrato Estrella farm dog. And here you can see it tracking us on bicycles as we cycle past.
I think he thinks you're a new person again. He's going to come and investigate you and I like you're a brand new visitor.
When the camera detects motion, it sends a notification to your phone. When you click on the notification, it opens up the app and it takes you to the real live view where you can see the camera from wherever in the world. These cameras are connected by Wi-Fi to your internet router and broadcast to your phone wherever you may be, which is a really nifty feature. We used to have their Argus 3 model overlooking our front door, but now they've given us the Argus 4, and as you can see, it's almost double the width. We have 180 degrees of view. Essentially, it's two full HD cameras that have been joined together seamlessly, giving you a nice big 4K image. And this means that you can zoom into the image, you've still got lots of detail, and unlike a pan-tilt zoom camera that kind of moves around and it's quite jerky, with this you can actually look where you want to in the picture in a 180 degree field, and you can very smoothly and seamlessly see what's happening in very high detail. So this is what the camera looks like. It's actually quite small. This is my mobile phone for comparison in size. We've got two lenses, as I said earlier, one on each side, that give you a 4K image. We have some lights on the side over here, and we have a sensor on the bottom. It's a very simple setup. This is the solar panel that I have on the roof. It goes through this wire into the back of the camera, and the camera is connected to the internet using Wi-Fi, which it gets from the router inside our house. These cameras were quite useful, as they sent us notifications when our puppy ran away. This was Eddie. He fell in a well, and this was the day that we rescued him. Here is we've got a security camera up here to basically watch over this part of the fence here. It gives us alerts when he comes and runs through. It also helps us keep an eye on Mimo when she's eating one of Gina's shoes and sharing it with her brother. Funny how she never does it when we're watching, but the camera sees all. You know what? I'm a lucky guy. I get offered cool products like this all the time. Now, a lot of the products I don't actually accept because I do a little bit of research and I check it out and I find out that they're not as good as it says on the website. And well, with REOLINK, I always accept their cameras because, first of all, I have a big need for cameras all over the farm. I love cameras because it helps me, capture wild animals and all sorts of different things around the farm. But also, secondly, it gives me peace of mind. Like if I'm traveling and I'm out and about, I can log in at any time, just open up my phone, hit the app, open it up, and I can have a look at any of the cameras around the farm. I can not only see what's going on, but I can also hear. And for instance, if there's a delivery guy or someone's arrived, I can actually talk to them. Through the app on my phone, I can actually talk to them. There's a little speaker on the camera itself. And yeah, it's a super nifty feature. So yeah, this is something that I'm definitely happy to promote to you guys. Obviously, this is a sponsored video, but I always choose my sponsored videos very carefully to make sure that I know that the product's going to be good. I'm not going to put something out there that I think is crap. I'm not going to put my name next to that. Now, having said that, there is a discount code that they've given us. It's a 5% coupon code. It's OK Portugal, so super easy. You just type that in checkout. The link that you can click on is just below. So yeah, check it out. I'm going to put that into the video description and also in the top pinned comment on YouTube. And wow, it sounds like it's raining. This whole segment has been recorded a couple of days after the rest of this video was recorded. So we actually right now have Sahara dust that's blown in from the Sahara. It's given us this weird sort of yellowy, orangey color in the sky. And we also have a little bit of rain, like that's kind of spitting down at the moment. So things look quite different. Anyway, now that you've seen that segment on the REOLINK cameras, it's time to get back to the main video. It's a beautiful new day. I've got some charcoal just getting ready in my little Weber. I'm about to do a roast chicken. And I hear that Joaquim's started in the main field. He's got his hay roller, so let's go and have a look. Hello, chicky chickens. Yeah, it is an absolute stunner of a day. Look at this. So clear, absolutely beautiful. 29 degrees today. This is the kind of weather I love. I'm kind of at two minds about it because on the one side I do love spring and I love all the greenery and I love all the flowers and everything, but on the other hand I love the heat. So yeah, I guess these are my two most favorite times of the year. And here we go, we got a perfect view of the hay baler picking everything up. This is quite quick work. When you're tilling, you're going a lot slower. But something like this, as you can see, he's going a nice pace and it's not going to take him long and he's going to have a whole bunch of hay bales. Now what it has to do is, it has to wrap this blue twine around the hay bale at the end after it's rolled it into a nice compact ball. And any moment now, Joaquim's going to start to move forward. This is going to pop open almost like Pac-Man. There we go. And look at that. A nice perfect hay bale pops out. And this is all of the twine that wraps around it. This piece is actually a little bit loose, but generally speaking, they're nice and tight. And yeah, a nice hay bale. A huge hay bale. You need a forklift to pick up one of these things because they're very heavy. This front field of mine is quite a small one. This is like about the smallest field, so I'm not sure how many we're going to get on here, but we've already got two nice big bales, so it's looking pretty good. And remember I said earlier that this field is like the least productive field. This is the one that's getting better and better every year as we improve the soil. So yeah, I might have to go and look at last year's video and find out exactly how many bales we got on this piece. So I'm going to have my work cut out for me in the next couple of weeks before the summer hits, before it gets like mega hot and before you're not allowed to do any of that kind of stuff during the midday heat. The machine seems to be a little bit messy. I saw him tinkering around with it, so it has dropped a couple of pieces, but as you can see, he's kind of going over rows that have already been done and he's picking up all those little pieces, so nothing's going to go to waste. All of these little lines here, he's going to sweep it all up. Alright, well so far we've got, what is that, 4 on this field. He's doing a 5th one now. Got 1 down here and another 3 on this side. I'm guessing he's going to get like a 4th one, sorry, a 5th one. I just have to go and check on that fire quickly, get that chicken started. I'm going to be doing a spatchcock chicken. Alright, so the coal is starting to look good. Some people ask me what this thing is. This is basically like a chimney starter. You put the charcoal in here, you put firelighters underneath. Obviously hot air rises, so it gets your coals going quite quickly. And what you kind of want is you want the coals to almost go white all over. Not completely white, you know, because I do want them to still have some energy when they're cooking in here. Eddie, what's going on, my sausage? Hey, is he getting all of the grass? You used to love that grass, didn't you? You're throwing yourself around in it. It was also getting you covered in ticks. So it's a good thing it's gone. Let's see if I can show you. We got Mama Hen here and she's got some of her little baby chicks. All of the chickens are just hanging out here because it's nice and cool. Hot day today. All right, let's see if those coals are ready. But yeah, there we go. I think we're pretty much there. If I was cooking steaks or whatever, I'd want all of these to be white, but I don't want them to all be completely burnt out. I want them to sit inside these trays and actually still have some energy. So I think it's time to go. So I've tipped all the coals out, put them into these little baskets. So I've left a little channel in the middle, and I'm using one of these little aluminium drip trays. I've changed the shape actually because I'm doing a spatchcock and it's quite wide. I've made this kind of Pac-Man shape so that I can put the chicken in between there. I don't know if you can hear already, the potatoes are starting to get affected by these hot coals. So it's not perfect. We do have drumsticks hanging over the edge here. This is a 47 centimeter Weber, so it's not the biggest, but it should be good. I've done one of these before. Got the potatoes in there, the oils will drip in there. I need to get this lid on so we can get some heat. And on the lid it has a thermometer, a temperature gauge. So this is basically we want it to sit at about sort of between 200 and 250 degrees Celsius, which is what, between 400 and 500. I forgot to mention, on the bottom of the Weber, we've got this little lever over here, which opens and closes the vents. You want that fully open. Let's see. On one of these basic weavers, it might be a little bit different on some others. And then on the top, I just leave it fully open as well. When you do that, the temperature does go much higher. You've got more oxygen. We're sort of hitting 250 degrees Celsius. But this will come down. So towards the end of the roast, we'll be sitting at about 200, 220. You can see here just how much grass there's still left. I can hear Joaquim's all the way down the bottom there. I can hear the tractor wearing away in the distance. And yeah, he's got quite a lot in this olive grove here and also out here. It's quite cool to see the difference between what is now a nice little garden area because we've got this fence and the big wild field, because only a few months ago we didn't actually have a fence here, and I was quite worried that this fence was going to sort of ruin the farm, but now it's quite nice. You know, we've got this sort of demarcated area that becomes the garden, and then, you know, a very definite change that becomes the fields and stuff like that. So yeah, it's worked out pretty well. The only part that's a bit odd is we have some of our vineyard here, and that's kind of like in front of the house, and then obviously the fence sort of chops it off, and you can see the difference where the vines are growing. I've cut all the weeds and everything, and this area here, which I'm going to have to cut and trim, so you can see a huge difference. You can see just how messy that is. So yeah, man, I've got my work cut out for me. I quite like a push mower. I find that quite therapeutic, but when you use one of those strimmers and you have to swing from side to side and your back's getting twisted, and it's not my favorite. It might not have been the best idea to do this braai right outside the front door, because when the grasses get done, lots of flies come, and obviously now we've got the smell of chicken as well. All these things. So earlier on the temperature went to about 260, which is hotter than I've ever seen it before. So I've closed the vents down a little bit. Obviously starving it, a little bit of oxygen is going to bring the temperatures down. We're sitting at about 225 now. I wonder if the microphone's going to pick up the sound of this sizzling away. I think it did. I can hear it from here.
I think your mic's now going to smell like roast chicken for the next few outings.
That's going to be good though. All right, my glamorous assistant.
I don't know about that.
We've had 45 minutes. We're sitting on about 205, 210. It's a spatchcock. It should go in for about 1 hour 15. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, it's actually looking good. You know what? I'm going to leave it in longer. So I took the lid off because I was a little bit worried about the direct heat it was getting. And spatchcocks can take a little bit quicker if you cook them on direct heat. Obviously, we're sort of half direct, half indirect. And normally when I cook something like this, I don't have the potatoes underneath it. So I think I'm going to leave it in for another half an hour and cook it like a regular chicken and see what happens. Let's hope for the best. But what you really don't want to do with one of these weavers is lift up the lid and take all of the heat out. Obviously, we've got like a bit of a wind blowing through here and stuff like that. So let's see what happens with this temperature, but I'm going to set my timer for another half an hour. What I was going to say is when you cook a Weber chicken, just put it in there, set your timer, and don't mess around with it. Don't lift up the lid. Don't do all of those things. And guess what I've done? I've done all of those things. So don't listen to me. If you're going to cook a chicken on a Weber, stick it in there for 1 hour 15. Take it out, let it rest for about 10 minutes, and then you're going to have the perfect chicken. Mais ou menos. So the alarm's gone off. We're at 200 for 1 hour 15. It smells good. It smells a little bit overcooked in some parts.
Crispy.
It smells crispy, yeah. But let's see what's happening. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so the drumsticks are a little bit overcooked, but the part that's not over direct heat looks fantastic. The potatoes are looking quite good. And yeah, I think we've got ourselves a good old spatchcock chicken over there.
Crispy feet.
Crispy feet. So we're going to let that rest for about 10 minutes. I'm going to put the lid back on again while we're resting the chicken. And now the doggies are getting their crunch crunch. Edie, is that your crunch crunch? And soon it's going to be time for my crunch crunch. All right, so the chicken's been resting now for about 10 minutes. We did have a cloth over it. It's actually looking pretty good. This little piece over here was obviously over the direct heat, but it's all just kind of like pulling apart, so it looks fantastic. And these potatoes are also looking quite good now. They've been in there for about 1.5 hours. So this is the point where Gina tells me that I'm absolutely fantastic because I've made some awesome food, but
I made the salad.
She'll never tell me that I'm fantastic, but yeah. So we've got some nice little roasty potatoes. The spatchcock chicken worked out pretty well. Not 100% perfect, but when you grab pieces, they just break off and it's got a nice smoky flavor. And we're going to tuck in now.
Hurry up, I'm hungry.
And we're going to say goodbye.
Bye.
Ciao. I nearly forgot one of the most important parts, the salad dressing. This actually comes from my mom in South Africa. She sent me the recipe. Well, she actually sent me this bottle with my stepdad, but she also sent me the recipe on this little card that she drew. And if you want to know what's in there, hit the pause on the screen right now and go and have a look. But I'll say quickly, 2/3 olive oil, 1/3 balsamic vinegar, pinch of salt, ground pepper, 2 teaspoons or teaspoons of honey, 2 cloves of garlic chopped very fine, and 1 teaspoon of dried Coleman's English mustard, and a squeeze of lemon. A squeeze of lemon says optional. So yeah, thanks Mom. This brings back memories. I absolutely love the salad dressing. It's amazing. Well, that was an awesome lunch. Boy, he got some of the chicken. The doggies got some of the chicken. And yeah, beautiful day. And now we're going to take the doggies for a little stroll. Doggies! Look at these flies. They're going absolutely wild here. It's part and parcel of being in central Portugal. When it starts to get warm, you get lots of flies, especially when they cut the grass. This is the first time the doggies have seen these hay bales. Eddie, what's this thing? What is this? Yeah. Well, it's going to be the first time. No, wait, this is the second time Eddie's seen hay bales, not the first time. Oh, does Mima have something stuck in her foot? This is another thing about this time of year, is the dogs get all sorts of stuff stuck in their feet. So yeah, I had to leave to cook the chicken, and then Joaquim, he also had to leave. I wasn't sure why exactly. He sort of arrived back just before I started filming this and said that something happened to one of the machines, so he's just fixing that, and he's going to be back tomorrow. I think this must have been what went wrong. It looks like this bale was being wrapped up, but the string only covered part of it, and obviously didn't cover this whole side, and so it's just all open. Yeah, look at that. So the string's completely loose, and it just all fell out. Try and see if I can get this done before Joaquim comes back to do the rest of the hay baling. I started nice and early, like 7:30 this morning, and yeah, I've made a lot all around the farm. It's looking good. All right, the lawns are mowed, and I've got to go and join Joaquim in the field, but I just want to show you how absolutely awesome our gardens look. Going into the vineyards. I still have to trim between the vines, so these ones were done a little while ago, but I still have to trim all of these. But yeah, it's looking amazing. This is probably like the last bit of green that we're going to get for the year. This is all going to start to turn sort of brown and disappear, unfortunately, but for now it's nice to have a nice green lawn. I think I'm going to get the drone up in the air because Joaquim's basically going up and down this really long field here, and for me to walk around with a camera, I'm just not quick enough. So this is now the tricky part, getting the olive grove done. He's got to sort of weave his way in, like in between the trees, so he can't just go up and down, he also has to go left and right. So it's a little bit more of a headache to do this, but I think it's going to be worth it for him because there is quite a lot of grass in here. Look, we got Mama Hen running around with her babies. She's actually been a bit naughty. She kind of I don't know, she wasn't with her baby. She kind of left them for most of the day, and she did that last night as well. Or sorry, yesterday afternoon. So I'm not sure what's going on there. She is still a very new mother, so she's only like a year old, and she's already brought up 2 babies. She did lose 3 of them though, so I think she's still learning. But it is quite cute to see them running around. After I've sort of mowed the lawns and stuff, they love running around and grabbing all the little bugs and things that they can access. I can already see it looks like we've smashed our records. I mean, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there's about, I think there's about 12 just from here all the way around there. And in the bottom field there's a couple, and on this side there's a couple more, and on the front field there's a couple more. When this is all done, I'm gonna run around and count them all, I think. But yeah, here's one last look at at our lawns, because I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to have green lawns around the farm. And the plus side of that is that I won't have to worry about mowing until next spring. So I think Joaquim's saying that he's done now for the afternoon. Ciao, Joaquim. So I think that's it for now. Good morning. It's another morning on the farm, and well, we had a walk around last night and we counted 30 hay bales. So 30 hay bales just on the fields around here. Obviously we still have a field down there that hasn't been done, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. We got 3 over there, we got another couple in this field. I think in this field we got about 8 or something. We've got one over here which didn't quite work out. Joaquim's already been down here with his tractor. He's already started collecting, so he's picked up most of them. And yeah, I just wanted to come down here and film it so you can see how he does that. So Antonio's just coming down the road here with his truck, and he basically just parks it next to the hay bales. He can fit 2 of these bales into the back, and Joaquim's back. So I think they're just doing 4 at a time. Cool, so they've already picked up most of them. I believe it was 30. I'm going to have to ask Joaquim in a bit and just find out, because perhaps he had collected a couple of them yesterday, I'm not sure. I love how strong these tractors are. It's goodbye grass. We're left with, well, this is all going to get tilled soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but yeah, a completely different landscape. Here we can see a stark contrast between the cut and the uncut field. And well, we've kind of left this to grow for a couple of weeks because it's not quite as tall as the rest. Basically, this is the lowest point of the farm. It's obviously the wettest point of the farm, but it got too wet, so the grass didn't start growing properly, you know, because it was kind of drowning, especially in this corner over here. But yeah, it's looking good. It's looking really good. So I think there's only 2 more bales to go, and then they're done. We've got a nice one over there, and then we have a not so nice one over here. I think he had a problem with the machine. It doesn't look like the blue twine wrapped around this one properly, so it only wrapped around the one half. Maybe it ran out of twine or something happened, but as you can see, it's not holding on to this at all. Yeah, it looks like he had a problem with the machine, because you can see this whole line of little bits over here, and then obviously this bale that kind of disintegrated. So I think this is probably from the first day when he was rolling, when the machine messed up. Yeah, I wonder how he's going to pick this up. So it looks like he's actually just going to stick the forks in and hope for the best. I'd be surprised if it actually manages to pick this up. Okay, it is picking up some. Wow, okay. That's surprising. There's practically nothing holding that together. But I suppose it's better than him having to flatten it out, get the roller and do all of that work again. And then there's just the final one in the bottom field over here. Then I think he's done. And I think probably, you know, with this, when he does the tilling and stuff, this is probably just going to get tilled into the soil. I need to ask him how many hay bales we got. Finish. Quantos fardos de feno? 30? Or, I think it's 30, yeah, sim.
Agora, esta semana ceifar este, depois a mesma volta.
Ok, obrigado, Joaquim.
Tudo bom, tchau.
All right, so that's the grass harvest of 2024. Well, I say that, but actually there is still this stuff at the bottom here. Over the next week, Joaquim came back with his tractor to deal with the last bit of grass in our bottom field. He cut everything down, he swept it all up, and he got out his hay baler again once more to get the very last bales from our farm for 2024. And I think Joaquim's sheep are going to be very happy with all this extra feed that they can munch on during the hot summertime. And there you have it, 14 just on this section over here, 30 on the rest of the sections, 44 in total, plus maybe like a third just inside the baler. Well, that was a very successful grass harvest, and I think we're going to have a good year this year. You know, it started off, we've had a nice amount of rain, the sort of REOLINK Argus do mil. Well, we had most of our rain not in April, but we had our rain in sort of May time. I think it was March or May or something like that. And we've had record grass. Temperatures have been pretty good. We're starting to get into our warm temperatures now. We seem to have lots of water on the farm. So it looks like we're gearing up to have a nice sort of summer season. Not too crazy. Hopefully not crazy droughts and things like that. Hopefully no risk of fire and stuff like that. So I'm quite positive for this next season coming up. Anyway, we'll catch you later, and well, thanks for watching. Ciao.